Hey guys, welcome back to Stocks Around Us with me, Pizza. Guys, the holiday season is upon us, so you better start thinking where you want to spend your New Year's holiday. As for me, I'll be traveling in Thailand for many reasons. One, the flights are very short. Two, Thailand is very interesting. And three, most importantly, the tickets are very cheap. I especially got cheap tickets because I'll be flying on what we call a budget carrier. So what does it mean to fly on a budget carrier? It means that I may be allowed just a small luggage onto the plane, or I may get to eat snacks instead of a full course meal during the flight. But I'm completely fine with the limited service because the tickets are very cheap. You see, this is the essence of a budget carrier, cheap tickets. Budget carriers have a very interesting costing model. You see, that's why we're going to explore one low-cost carrier that just got listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Nok Air Public Company Limited. Currently, Nok Air offers the most coverage within Thailand's domestic routes. They fly over 23 routes in 21 provinces. This includes the big cities like from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, Udon Thani, Phuket, and Hat Yai, for example. But also they cover other provinces like Phitsanulok, Trang, Nan, and many others. Recently, they've added flights to Krabi and the main cities of Myanmar. Having their major hub at Don Mueang International Airport and secondary hub at Chiang Mai International Airport, Nok Air owns and operates a total of 17 aircrafts from Boeing and ATR. To increase their coverage, Nok Air offers other travel solutions such as a connecting ferry service and coach services to different places. Being a low-cost carrier, Nok Air offers tickets at lower cost with limited flight services. But of course, you can always pay extra for the things you want. For example, we can pay extra if we want more baggage weight or pay more for snacks on the plane. However, they already do provide you with snack packs. This costing strategy allows the company to price lower than other full-service airlines. Still, the airlines allow customers to select different travel classes, starting with their promotion class, Nok Eco to Nok Flexi, which allows more flexibility in terms of baggage weight, flight changes, and such. In addition to all this, Nok Air also offers services like travel insurance, membership point cards, hotel reservation systems, and even Nok Air merchandises. So as you can see, while the ticket prices are low, the airline's basic services are actually covered. Therefore, we can say that Nok Air is in fact a low-fare, high-value budget airline. Guys, before you start thinking where you want to go for your holidays, maybe we should take a visit to Nok Air's office so that we can meet the CEO, Patee Sarasin, to learn more about this company. Thank you so much for having us at your office today.
Okay, thank you.
So first of all, what we'd like to know is, what is your outlook on the airline industry in general?
The airline industry today is going to be quite competitive, obviously, because of so many airlines opening up and
Right.
the current airlines are actually increasing the capacity as well. So we're seeing a big expansion going on in the next couple of years, I think.
How much is the market growing?
Well, currently we're holding about only about 19 million people flying. But with the added capacity, we think it's going to be over 20 million next year for sure.
And what about the growth of low-cost carriers in particular?
Well, I think basically that's where the growth is coming from. The low-cost airlines are playing a huge role in actually expanding the airline market today. And I think it's going to be the key factors in the near future for the next 5 years, that these low-cost airlines are going to continue to expand sort of heavily as well. So we're going to start seeing the domination of that kind of percentage over the legacy airlines currently flying across Asia as well. So
you think that the low-cost carriers are actually more competitive than the full service?
absolutely, it really is, because they actually work on efficiencies, and they work on in terms of a heavy frequency as well in terms of flying. So I think, yes, it's going to be the key driver for the next generation for the people to fly.
Right. And for Nok Air itself, you have so many routes within Thailand. I was wondering, who are exactly your passengers?
Well, the passengers are the people who actually have never flown before, or they have, and the younger generation. And basically it's comprising of all kinds of people actually. Some have flown with legacy airlines as well, are now turning over to low cost, because in terms of traveling privately, they have to spend the money themselves. So they're rather flying cheaper, obviously. That's how it works. So that's where the game is all about.
And how seasonal would you say is Nok Air?
Nok Air is
as a
actually,
business?
there's a comparison there in terms of what our passengers in terms of comprise more of the SME, of the business people, the local business people. So therefore, in terms of seasonality, it's not play a big role in terms of the sea fluctuations as it was in terms of the normal domestic market for the leisure market.
So you do have an advantage in that most of your customers are business travelers.
Yes, because we've designed our products to fit the business people as well. So in terms of the business people, throughout the low season, they're still flying anyways. But in terms of high season, we get the leisure as well as the business people flying. So the load factor has been average around 80% in the past 5 years.
But do you find that the economic slowdown has affected the business?
No, not really, because people are still flying anyways, regardless of what it is. I think because of the business itself, it's taking over the entire non-seasonality part of it all. So they continue to make money, and the business, when it's saying slow down, it's not really slow, is it?
Talking about Nok Air, what is your business strategy?
Our strategy is actually very simple. Our strategies have always been trying to open opportunities for people to fly, okay, at a reasonable rate. That's the key element in terms of why we're here in the first place. We maintain that strategy in terms of how we expand. That's why we expand to small towns. That's why we expand to big cities, because of the fact that we want to create the coverage. And we have achieved that, being the #1 in terms of coverage in Thailand, purely because of the strategy. Okay.
And some of the prices, as you mentioned, you're allowing everyone to fly. They're very cheap. How is it that you're able to charge at such cheap prices?
Well, they're not all cheap. I believe we're still a bit higher than our competitors at some point. But the way they plan is called the revenue management system. It's called, it increases through steps in terms of the capacity. If the capacity is low, in terms of demand is low, the price is pretty low. And the minute it gets to the fullest point, it'll be the most expensive part of it. So it actually expands through the capacity that is being filled up. So that's how it works. And we create the average price. How we do it, we have to be totally efficient in terms of how we work. It means utilization of the fixed costs, hedging the fuel, the variable costs, and create the values for the brand itself in such a way that creates a natural pull for people willing to spend a bit more for the price into the airlines itself. And that's how we've been doing it. That's the main core of the strategy. How we actually do it through different times is different, depending upon the environment and the demand and supply as well in the market.
So essentially, you are competing with both full-service and low-cost carriers. What differentiates Nok Air from the rest of the other airlines?
Nok Air we call ourselves a hybrid. But the competition always comes back to us, in terms of the service and the innovations. In terms of the comparative to legacy airlines, we believe we've got one of the much better distribution channels than what the legacy has. Because we work on the mass level, we work on something highly innovative, such as selling our tickets in 7-Elevens, ATM machines, stuff like that.
Right.
No other airlines in the world has that in terms of our extensive coverage network into the distribution. So I think we have the key advantage in terms of selling our tickets. 2, we have the brand, which is absolutely different from everybody else. It's easily called, easily remembered by the Thais, and easily pronounced as well. That's the key element there. And we create that kind of friendly atmosphere all the time. So the service is still the key element in trying to drive our consumers back to us, more so than other low costs who concentrate more on the price and price alone. Okay, we bundle our products in such a way that keeps everything easy. We create the smile. When we have a sort of proposition of being a smile, it means smile to the consumers, smile to the investors, smile to our staff as well. So when the 3 elements put together, you can create a winning game as well. So that's where the key elements are.
Right. And right now, you have the highest coverage within Thailand. Could you tell us a little bit about how you plan to expand your airlines?
Well, we're slowly expanding international. Currently, we have started flying to Yangon, and we have a small town called Molamyai in Myanmar. We actually focus our expansion slowly but surely, rather than trying to do a shotgun approach of trying to expand very quickly, trying to establish a #1 position like that, because there's too much risk going on when you expand that kind of way, because basically the costs are very high once you expand internationally. So therefore, we focus on each town, each cities, and each country at a time in order to achieve success first. Then we move on to the next target, around this region probably going to be.
So around the AEC regions?
Yes, because the coverage of the aircraft is only up to 3 or 4 hours in terms of flight time.
All right, well, thank you so much for today. We learned so much about Nok Air.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Kap.
Financial highlights. These are Nok Air's figures after the second quarter of 2013. To start with, their revenue was at 5.4 billion baht. Their net profit was over 670 million baht. The net profit margin was about 12%, ROE about 30%. PE was almost at 14 and PBV was at 2.88. The share price at the end of quarter 2 of this year was at 20.7 baht, and the market cap was almost 13 billion baht. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nok Air. Join us again next time for more company highlights with me, Pizza, or catch our show on Money Channel website or on YouTube. As for today, I'm pretty late for my check-in, so I better do it soon. I'll see you guys later. Bye!